Hey guys, this one's going to be pretty much one of those videos that's for my own benefit. I'm tearing down my MS290 here. I'm going to find out exactly what went wrong. Pretty sure it's the top end because it only has 40 pounds of compression where it should have, you know, around 100 or so. But you know, if you want to watch, that's just fine. If you don't, that's just fine too. Yeah, this is going to be a teardown. So I have to get some stuff around. I got a nice clear spot to work. Got some light. And just got to get my tools around. Alright, first thing I got. I'm going to try to do this without losing all my gasoline and oil. So I'm a cheapskate like that. I got a 27 Torx wrench. I'm not sure how other sets are marked, but that's how mine's marked. I'm going to start by taking off this recoil, and I'm going to get a speaker magnet, and just a speaker magnet to hang on to my screws. These things are great. You got old speakers, pop the magnets off. And hopefully, if I screw something up and can't figure out how to get it back together, I can come back and look at this video and see what the heck I did wrong. Got one over here. I've had this fairly apart before, but that was a while ago. I forget what. Oh yeah, I was changing the little flex line running from the fuel tank to the carburetor. Something like that. Alright. Got a little cup type of thing that goes onto the chain brake. And it's a slightly different screw. Just no threads up here. But this is almost like an autopsy video, ain't it? And the other screws have threads all the way up to the head, pretty much. Just about. And this comes off? Yes, it does. Alright. And there's your recoil. Flywheel, coil. Oh, that is dirty in there. I should be ashamed of myself not cleaning that out properly. Okay. Upward and onward, or whatever I want to say. Alright, first let's get this bar off of here, make it a little easier to work with. Alright, so you got two 19 millimeters right here. 3/4 will also work just fine. This part's easy. We've done this a million times. If you still have the screwdriver socket wrench looking thing that comes with the saw, those are a nice thing to have. I wish they could have somehow incorporated a Torx wrench to fit these Torx bolts right into that little tool. That would have been great. And, there's the bar and chain. Just hang that up out of the way. Okay. Now we can get around a little better. I don't know if I'm going to bother taking that air filter off just yet. What's next? How about the rest of the chain brake? God almighty, that is cruddy under there. And I'm going to get a piece of newspaper down and clean the crap out of it. Put the newspaper down, that way I can just pick up the newspaper and there goes all the crap with it, instead of having that laying all over my bench. But I'll spare you that. Alright, away we go. This looks like an oil adjuster down here, so I'm not going to mess with that. There's a little oil drop thing and a chain tooth looking symbol right there. So I think that sets how much oil your oiler is putting out. These can be kind of confusing. And looks like that bolt I took out is pretty much the same thing as the other bolts for the starter. So I think they can interchange. They're not going to care too much, be too particular about where they're at. Oh crap. Yep. Alright, well, I dropped a bolt and I'll have to find it later, get another one, or just do without it. It'd be nice to... I wish I should really clean up my shop. And you got these caps here that pop out, and they're kind of a pain. I hope they pop out at least. Yes, they do. Alright. And then you have a Torx down in here. Seems like these are all put together with Torx and flathead. And so far, it seems like they're all the same size driver, and geez, even the same size bolt. Maybe they want to make it simple at the factory or something, but I don't mind a bit. So we'll get this handle off of here, which is also kind of a Chinese jigsaw puzzle here. Take these buttons out of here. Alright. And it helps to have a little picky thingy. Sharp piece of wire or something. Dig the crap out of the holes. I would suggest, you know, hit your saw real good with the compressor every time you use it, or every couple times at least, you know, make it a habit. A screw gun with a Torx driver would probably be very handy for this, because there's lots of screws. Am I still in frame? Yep, looks like I am. Yeah, I can't really tell because the camera's kind of right above my head, so I gotta stand up on tiptoe to look at where I'm at. Alright, let's try not to lose this bolt, but we do got to get it to come out. Okay, there it is. And so far, with the exception of that one bolt with the cup on it, they're all the same thing. There's lots of them. Should be in frame there. Okay, handle's starting to come loose, as well as this big orange part. I'm going to have some throttle linkage and stuff to mess with. That's always a fun thing. And I hear a bee somewhere. Don't like bees. Alright, what's holding this on? Aha! One at the right at there. How you want to come out? Ah, okay. There's 3 of them caps. And I imagine those are a good thing. Keep the crap out of your bolts. Nope, there she goes. Alright. And off with her handle. Now this thing's going to need a good cleaning before it goes back together. It's nice so far that the bolts all seem to be the same dang thing. How's this guy? Let me get this. Oh, wait a minute. Would you look at that? That'll just, looks like that'll just sort of pop right out of there. And I believe it will. Yes, it will. Alright. And I might not even need to do that. I get something misaligned in there. Oh, there we go. I'm kind of learning as I go. I did, like I said, I did have it apart before, but that was a while ago. Don't really remember what was going on, or how I did it. So, and I haven't had it apart to the extent that I'm going to today. I'm going to strip it right down to the bare block and then take the engine apart and see exactly what went wrong. Very sure that it's the top end that went, but I don't want to just throw money at it and be wrong, because who likes blowing money when they don't have to, especially when you made a mistake and then you gotta pay for that mistake. Alright, we got another cap here. That one, the other three caps I pulled are all the same. This one, let me see if you can see it, or I can see it, whatever. This one is a little smaller, that goes right under the chain brake. You have to keep that in mind. And what is that down in there? Is that a Torx? Is that a flathead? Is that anything? Well, it doesn't look like anything at all. Looks like it just sort of slides off. I'm not sure what's up there. Let me get this chain brake exposed at least. I think if there's any different style bolts, you know what? I'm plugging in this fan because I need some air in here. That's a little better. Alright, chain brake. I want to see how that connects up to the clutch. Alright, these are shorter bolts here, so I'm going to put them back into the plastic so they don't get confused with the other guys. Yeah, this is going to be a fairly long video, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if that'll come right off of there like that. Not. Yes, it will. Okay. Oh, that's a lovely mechanism in there. And it looks like it won't cause me any problems later on to just stick these back in. Now, I don't know if I want to go taking that all apart, but I got the feeling I might have to get that chain brake out of the way. Oh, man, that is cruddy in there. Alright. Now, simple way to get this chain brake off. Do I even have to, really? I don't know. If this top cover would sort of be nice. I don't know that I'm getting around it. there it is. Alright. Might not be the right way to get this apart, but it certainly is expedient. Okay. Looks like the whole carburetor and everything will come off with that. Let's see. Is there a hose clamp holding that intake boot? Cannot tell because it has got crap all over it. Yes, there is. And doesn't look like I can quite get to it. So, or maybe. No. I don't like that either. Okay. Darn, that would have been so slick. We just take this whole thing off and the linkage and the carburetor would be hooked up. But alas, it is not to be. Okay, looks like 8 or 9. I don't think I'll have the wrench, but that's actually could be an 8 or a 7. Alright, I'll have to go get something of that nature. Alright, those are 8mm holding the carburetor on. The Carburetor. See how it goes, just trying to kind of cheat it. This is an MS290, in case I didn't mention that. I probably did. I tend to repeat myself a lot. As far as I know, it's about the same thing as a Farm Boss. Maybe the same engine, different bar or something, I'm not sure. Alright, let's see. Looks like really all we have to disconnect the carburetor is one line running from the tank to whatever this thing is, which that actually might just slide right off, that whole rubber thing, and throttle linkage, and the choke is just not really hooked up to it. It just has a thing that comes up and pushes on it. By the way, if you ever have a newer Stihl that won't shut off, your problem is in here. I've run into them, and usually I just choke it till it dies, but sometimes I fix it if I have to use the saw for very long. Okay, and right here we have a brass tube that kind of comes out of the carb, and for a very short distance, and then it makes a 90 and disappears into the orange plastic there. So we'll see. Looks like just mainly just the throttle linkage is the only real point that it's connected to much of anything. And your fuel line. Okay, back to it. Throttle linkage is disconnected. Alright, and you rotate that. Let me close up this toolbox before it falls over and I get sockets all over. Losing a bolt's one thing, but you could easily lose tools in this shop because it is not clean at all. Alright, so then you just rotate this thing a little bit counterclockwise and your linkage comes out. So if you want to stick it back in, just like that. You got, let's see. And it just looks like one slotted hole on the bottom of the butterfly where it hooks to the butterfly, and that's your throttle linkage off. So now the carburetor should slide out. Alright, looks like it's going to take that fuel line with it. Okay, that whole rubber assembly thing just slid right off. Let me see if I can get this fuel line off of here. Yeah, wow, that's got some pressure in it. That's neat. Didn't expect that. Alright, now that rubber boot. We got a metal sort of ring looking thing here that slides over the studs for the carburetor mount. And we got another one inside that keeps the rubber boot in shape so it'll stay in that hole for to butt up against the carburetor and make a good seal. Alright, there's the boot out, and this should be, no, not quite, got one line sticking through. Oh, alright, we got another thing on the bottom of the carburetor and one line coming through. Not sure what he goes to, but we'll find out in a moment here. Alright, that's another flexible looking line. Oh dear, do not lose these parts. Do not lose those. Oh boy, those would be pretty hard to replace. Alright, hang on, the cigarette went out. Or did it? Okay. See if I can get my... No, that looks kind of sharp to be picking at a fuel line with. Well, I'm not sure which is the inlet for fuel on the carburetor. But we know one line comes up through the bottom of the plastic casing and one line comes in through the, I guess, the front of it. Something like that, huh? Let's see, look at this. No, I don't want to go yanking. Oh, this is a pain in the butt. God blame it. Alright, well, I'm going to have to get my picky finger and try to work that out. It looks like it sits in a notch. The orange, the plastic sets in a notch in the rubber and just doesn't want to let go. Let go, let go, go to the light. Try it like this. Alright, I can see the bottom of it. You know what? If it rips, it was probably ready to go anyhow. Rather it didn't be ready to go. Really, I'm not looking forward to spending money any more than I have to. I mean, just the... Alright, there it is. That's out. Now this should... No? Something's still hooked up. What's hooked up? What's hooked up? Wires. Nah. Oh my Lord, what's hooked up here? I think it's just some wires. Yeah, that's wiring. Ignition control. Alright. Shouldn't be a terrible big deal to take care of. Alright. Let's just get a good look at how this is routed. You got one spade going down to here, and up and down, and then he loops through around the tree a couple of times and disappears into the hole. See if I can pop that grommet out of there. It kind of retains these wires without doing any damage. So it wants to go. Wants to go, and just about there. There it is. Alright. So now we will take this spade loose. And this is part of your kill switch. What I was talking about earlier. If you're having problems with it not shutting off, look there, and ye shall find. Will this just kind of clip right out of there? Yes, it will. Alright. That's out of the way. And what's this guy do? I think this wants to slide. I think. Alright, let me. Hang on. Alright, let me get that back down in there. And it goes pretty simply. I'm not sure how that comes out of there. I don't know. See, right there, this contact connects with this, and that kills it, and then that spade is hooked basically to this thing, and that's what grounds out your ignition and kills the engine. But right now, I gotta figure out how to get this dang thing out here. I'm not sure how she goes. She wants to go. It moves. Okay, it just shoves out of there. Alright. Okie dokie then. And now, we should be loose with this thing. Oh my god. What? Still? Oh, okay. You got one line going to your tank. So we'll pop that loose. Alright, now! Thank you! Good lord. Give me enough trouble, why don't you? Huh. Oh, they're never gonna make it easy on you, are they? Alright. What am I gonna do here so I don't lose parts? First of all, put this carburetor linkage on the throttle linkage on the magnet so that doesn't get lost. And this thing I can slide down over this carb studs, carb retaining studs, would you call it that? I don't know. I don't know technical terms for stuff. So tough noogies. Alright. And the carburetor. Carburetor. Yes. Alright. Carburetor. Well, it slid right off before. What the heck? Slid off so nice. So nice. Oh, I got it backwards. Alright. The inlets are going to face, or the pipes, whatever, the tubes, they're going to face inward toward the front of the saw. And ta-da! Okay. And we'll just slide that on enough so that stuff doesn't get lost, hopefully. Just run them on a little bit. You know what? Nah, let's just leave it. Okay. And this ring here, I'm going to stick that on a magnet. There's not a good place to leave it. Oh, I'm losing fuel out of there. How can I deal with that? Take this fuel line and shove it. Oh ho 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 ho. Oh ho ho. Oh, let me get this rubber thing out of here. and you can slide that rubber out of that, and plastic over there, and I should be able to just stick this fuel line on there, and ain't terrible. Alright, it's better. Okay. Now, does this chain brake indeed have to come off? We shall see. Oh, pardon me. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Well, how does this thing even come apart? Ugh, good lord. Well, alright. Plug wire. And that kind of clips up under here. And, oh, boy, that is a pretty nice job. Pretty slick. There's Stihl. Good saws, I do like them. At least I like this one. It served me well. That's the only reason I'm going to this trouble. And let me see if this is the same as the rest. Yeah, it pretty much is. So, the bolts holding down the coil can just go in the same little thing you got holding the rest of the bolts. The rest of the ones that are all the same. And they don't matter. That's very nice of them to do it like that. Seems they didn't use different bolts unless they had to. Alright, we've got two wires. We've got a green and yellow, and green and yellow, and a green and yellow. Well, two green and yellows kind of crimped together. They're going to the top of the coil. And it looks like you do have a little adjustment there. And just a washer. I'll stick that on one of these bolts. And it looks like we have something right there, a spade. That looks like a black wire. Alright, that's the one I was having trouble with just a minute ago. Or whenever. Is that one? Oh, I see. That sort of has a little retainer in the top of the coil. Probably would be easier if I had the flywheel out of the way, but I don't. So, yeah, it might actually. Okay, our coil will tilt up. You know what? I don't even know if this coil really has to come out of the way too much. I think, once I get that flywheel off, I don't know, let me dig around here a little bit, see if I can find more bolts. I think that was my oil adjuster there. Oh, there's one bolt that I forgot to pop out. And that is the same as the rest of them. Kind of like this. It's a puzzle. I do sort of like puzzles. It's probably going to be a lot of fun getting this thing back together. I'm going to get this little socket set out of my way because I don't need that. The wrenches out of my way. I don't need those right now. Hair out of my way. I don't need that blowing in my eyeballs. Alright. What was I? Oh, right, the flywheel. And that looks like a 13. But I don't think it is. I don't know. I think that's a 12. No, that's a 13. 13's a little loose on it. Could be just that my socket's getting worn. Now, let me think. Would this be a reverse thread or a regular one? Let me think. Engine turns this away. So yeah, that would be a regular thread, I believe. If I don't know if I'm gonna state this right, but if you can imagine which way the engine turns and then which way the nut would loosen, the engine, it would normally want to be threaded so that as the engine's turning, that nut wants to tighten instead of loosen. Well, let's see if we can knock it loose, mayhaps. This would be a good time for a strap wrench. Oh, I think I got her. Or I busted the whole freaking crankshaft. Nope, finish. Alright, good deal. I'm going to get a deep well and an extension. And take that off. And that will be our flywheel nut. Now, alright, what I'm going to do is not something I would recommend, but I'm going to do it anyhow. And I'll probably look at this video later and kick myself in the ass for doing this. Got a nice chunk of brass here. And find somewhere to put some light pressure against on the flywheel and kind of hold it out, push it out away from the engine. Oh, don't want to go. She's on there. Ow. Wait. Did it move? No, it did not. Alright, well, I don't have a puller to fit that, and that flywheel's got to come off. Alright, well, let me screw with that a while, and I'll pick up when something happens. Alright, got the flywheel loose. I just did that thing. Kept over here, held it down with my elbow, and then held the brass with my left hand, and then with my arm, well, or I guess, you know, whatever, and just kind of tapping it, turn the flywheel, doing it, and do it over here where the flywheel's thick, and then turn it around, do it again, but it did pop loose, no problem. And I didn't have to whale the hell out of it, I just kept kind of tapping on it somewhat heartily, just not beating the ever-loving shit out of it. Okay, boy, that is dirty, isn't it? Oof. Alright. I don't really have to worry about that coil too much. It's like archaeology. Okay. We're getting there. Well, that's seal looks alright. I don't get it. From what I can see of it so far, anyhow. Well, it looks good. It's right up there against the crankshaft. But who knows about the other side? I still have the clutch to take off. Oh, oh, that is grody. That's just terrible. I am rightly ashamed of myself. Now, you know what? If they wanted the coil to be cleaned so often, then they should have made it easier to get out. Alright, let's see here. Spark plug wire. Will that shove right out, maybe? Yes, it will. Okay. Almost looks like it is from there. And there's a joint right there, or, well, a seam, whatever you want to call it. But it is sort of looking, oh wait a minute. Looks like this will come off with this guy and this guy, perhaps. Let me dig the crud out of the heads. I would definitely suggest an air nozzle. All I have right now is that gas compressor, and I don't feel like listening to that thing run, so I'm relying on lung power. And these are different bolts. So these will go back in where they came from. It's still in frame. Okay, move over a little bit. That looks better. It's just, this video has got to look like an autopsy thing. Alright. And move that boot out of the way, and that comes out. Off. Whatever you want to say. And there are two of the same. The bolts, comparing the two, are the same, so it doesn't seem to matter which hole they go back in. Just tell your girlfriend it doesn't matter which hole and see how hard she belts you. Oh, that's probably kind of wrong, but you know what? I'm kind of wrong. Alright, so we have our, well, we got most of the jug, part of the jug exposed, actually most of it. Do. If I don't have to mess with that chain brake mechanism, I would be pretty happy about that. Oh boy, I didn't see where that piece of plastic goes. Well, oh wait a minute, I believe that wants to go right like that. Yes, okay. You see that? Let's see. That goes right down in there. So, looks like just a thing where the chain can sort of rub against it without hurting anything. Let me get this brass drift out of my way. I don't need that. And I don't need to know if I need the hammer or not, so I'll leave that for now. I'm not sure what this little hook thing does, but I think that catches your chain in case it pops. Alright, looks like a little C-clip for the clutch here. Washer. Okay, C-clip, washer. Release the chain brake, and does this on a slide right? Yes, it does. Okay. Now, we got a roller bearing inside the clutch. Now, let's see, the engine turns that away. So, alright, now this I'm thinking is reverse thread. because the engine's turning like that, and a normal thread would just sort of loosen, and this does get a lot of torque on it. So yeah, I think if going this way would loosen it, and your crank is turning this way, and it's almost like your clutch would have to turn. Alright, your crank is turning this way inside the clutch, so reverse threads would be tightening that. So yes, your clutch, oh, I can actually see the end of the thread there, and yes, it does certainly look like it's reverse thread. I mean, you can call it right hand thread or whatever. I just, normal thread and reverse thread, that avoids a lot of confusion for me. And that looks like a 17. 11/16 would, no, 11/16 is pretty much the same as 17, but that's a 19 or 3/4. Let's see if we can pop that loose. I don't know. Still got the plug in, but there isn't much compression left on this engine. Wait a minute, I'm going the wrong way, ain't I? I want to go righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. I wonder if there's a convenient little spot that I can poke a screwdriver through and... Oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. No, I think what I'll have to do is just kind of slide the flywheel on. Oh, it's got its own little key cast right into it. Isn't that nice of them? Well, they did make it sort of nice on you. Alright. Righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. And the wrench just barely goes on there. Oh. This ought to be a regular circus act right here. Well, I'm going to bust my ashtray. This should probably be done with an impact wrench or something. And hopefully it's not locked. Ah, man, ow. Alright, well, you get the idea, right? I'll get back when I got something going on. Okay, well, I screwed up. I stuck the flywheel on there and ran the nut down and jammed the flywheel in order to get this clutch loose, and sheared my key right off inside the crankshaft. So I have just added to my bill and have to get a new flywheel now. Damn it. Unless I can find a machinist to broach me a new key or something in there. I don't know. That's a possibility. But now how the hell am I going to get that friggin' clutch off? Shoot. Alright, well, I'm going to keep at it. Alright, I got a something of a plan here. I just watched a video by Donnie Boy 73. It's spelled Donny Boy, but whatever, I think it's supposed to be Donnie Boy. Get that piston all the way down and stuff the cylinder full of rope. I've actually used this before when I was doing valves on an engine to keep the valves up. I stuffed the cylinders full of rope, turned the crankshaft by hand until it was mashing against the valves, and it worked if you don't have an air compressor. And hopefully this will work too. It sure worked real slick in this video. But after 12 years of cutting, I imagine this thing is on there pretty tight, and it is indeed reverse thread. Righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So you have to go backwards. And it seems like it's getting there. Just keep stuffing. I wish I had some of that, I don't know, cheapo, hard nylon plastic rope stuff. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, if I bust my crankshaft, I always got this on the other end, so I can just give up and string myself up. So it's all good. Alright, let's, alright, well, it is certainly jamming it. I think I might have to go get a socket, but, ow, because they don't leave you much of a purchase on here. Okay, let me go get a 6-point socket and I'll be back. Alright, let me get in frame here. Alright, now, got a 6-point socket. See if that'll come loose. Wow, I think it went. It did. Alright. If only I'd have thought of that before I ruined my flywheel. But there's still hope for that too. I can file a groove in where that key used to be, and I can put a new key in it. So it's not like the end of the world. And I'm sure there's plenty of guys on eBay that have tore these things apart. But there's your clutch. Okay. That's the actual guts of the clutch. That's what does the clutching, I suppose. You might want to say that. Got a big washer down here. And a thinger. Not sure exactly what that does. But looks like it'll come off pretty easy. Well, that seal don't look bad either. Oh, alright. Is that threaded? Or is that just... Yeah, that's threaded. I'm not sure. But... Okay, well, this goes with top facing you, I do believe. And then this thing, not sure what it's for, not sure why it's threaded, because there's not really any threads to match it down there. Whatever. Alright, well, let me see if I can get my flywheel back off now, because I hammered that on. I was hoping the taper lock would hold it, but with that little rope thing, didn't have to do all that. So thank you to Donnie Boy, or Donnie Boy 73. Whoever you are, you're a good guy. Okay, there's the nut. Now I'm gonna need to get that flywheel back off, and I'll get back to you. Okay, my flywheel is back off. And let me get some more sawdust out of there. Looks like I'm needing a new piece of newspaper. Get some of the crap out. We got a yellow and green wire right down in here. Looks like you can see that. Get that out of the way. Looks like we are ready to start looking for bolts to take this case apart. But how? But how? Alright, and it's looking like we have 4 engine mount bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm almost thinking if I get them loose, that the engine will just about be able to work out of there, and I shouldn't have to split this case. I don't even know if I can. It might be one of them things where it's sort of ultrasonically welded. I'm not, I mean, I can see where the seam was, but it sure don't seem like it would come apart anytime soon. So I'll have to, let's try this. Not something I really like doing to my tool because this is abusive, but I don't see much of a way around it. And these are the same size as the other bolts. I can just find a good way to get on there. Oh boy, I don't know. They're tight. Wow, oh man. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to have to get some regular Torx drivers that go on the end of a ratchet. Alright, got a set of these guys. And a 27. Let's see, fit. Ah, it's a 1/4 inch drive, dang it. Oh well. C'est la vie. Huh? Oh boy. I'm gonna snap something or break something or strip something. I just know it. I don't believe I gotta get these out of here one way or another. Oh, she broke loose. Alright. That's much better. And I think these bolts might also be holding the pan onto the bottom of the engine. Now these are definitely different from the rest of them. These seem to be a machine thread from what I can feel of it. Well, not really a machine thread, but definitely a different bolt. But there's not much mistaking them. Let's see if I can go for another one. You feel lucky, punk. Ooh, alright. That's 2. Let's see if I can break them all loose. There's 3. Should be 4. No, it is 4, but hopefully it will be 4 that come loose for it. Yep, that did. Alright. The engine don't seem to be any looser, but we'll carry on, shall persevere, and hopefully we'll be rewarded with the engine coming out without too much dang trouble. I think I might run into some issues with the oiler. Might have to mess around with that a bit, but alright, well, you got this idea. Just take those 4 bolts, but I might be missing a step, so don't just go tear your chainsaw apart right now. Anyhow, I'll get back when I got those bolts out and I find my next issue. Alright, I got the engine somewhat loose in there. Mainly it's the crank rattling around inside, but I gotta get this muffler out of my way, and that is, again, there's supposed to be 3 8mm bolts, but I snapped one off before when I had it apart. I just thought, heck with it, it'll work. This one seems to be coming out nicely, or off or out, whatever. Maybe the whole stuff. No, the nuts coming off by itself, and I'll stick those back onto the stud. And we'll see what this guy says. I think. Yep. All right. Get off of there. Oh, Donny boy, the pipes, they're calling from glen to glen and cross the mountainside. I don't even know if I'm singing that right. Probably not. I'm a goomba. Yeah, there's that busted off. Oh, it looks like it shouldn't be too hard to changed though. Looks like it just sort of slides right out of there, so that'll be a nice thing. Oh, Donnie boy, thanks you for showing me how to tear this stupid thing apart. Well, I have the cylinder loose from the crankcase. Well, I just wrestle these things back into where they're supposed to be, like herding cats. Maybe like that. Yeah, I think that would be the way. Maybe, maybe not. How the heck did this go? Like this. Try like this. Alright, there we go. Okay. And the washer, and the washer, and the nut, and a nut. Yeah, it looks like if you snap one of these off, it's not a big deal to get it replaced. Now, let me see. Okay. The whole pan came off the bottom of the engine. Oh, hey, there it is. And let's see. Oh, that piston is destroyed. Look at that baby. That's lovely, huh? Something happened. I know how to mix my fuel. Oh, how's the inside look? Not terribly great. I don't know. Maybe if it were honed it might run again. But it definitely got top end problems. Let's see if I can wheedle this crankshaft out of here somehow. There we go. And them seals, I don't know, man. Them seals don't look bad. I mean, they seem to fit snugly on the crankshaft. And that one's maybe just a tiny bit looser, but whoop, there goes the seal. I don't know, maybe they're supposed to fit a lot tighter. What's this, a worm? That's some sort of a gear. Yeah, that jug. Well, you might be able to hone it. I don't know. There's no real spots I can hook a fingernail into, but that piston is definitely shot. So, how the bearings feel? They seem to be alright. And yeah, you can get the piston off of the connecting rod. There's no play up and down on it, just mainly side to side, which that's normal. You're going to have that. These bearings still feel okay. This crank seems alright. Huh. I wonder if I should try honing this thing. And it doesn't look like it destroyed the jug so much as the piston. And that piston is freaking horrible. And look at all that. It just scraped the hell out of it, especially right there. You can hook your fingernail in it. There's nothing remotely that deep in the jug. It just looks kind of scratched up. I'm almost thinking I could just hone that thing and probably use it again instead of having to buy a Chinese made long block. Just get a piston. Ha ha ha. That is a good one, and I think I shall ponder it. But that ends the teardown of a Stihl MS290. And yeah, right here is where my key went, and I think I can get a small file in there and make another groove and find an aluminum key, or just find a used flywheel. There's lots of parts on eBay for these things, so it's not an incredibly rare thing. I just wonder what the heck happened. There doesn't seem to be any cracks in my intake boot. From everything I saw, it seemed like that was sealing well. Yeah, these studs here, they just kind of slide out, and you can hook a new one in there just like that. So now I can have all three studs on my muffler again. Just have to find another nut, but that's not such a big deal. Yeah, those bearings were fine. They didn't even spin or anything. Just wondering what the hell happened. Where did the seals go wrong? Fit in there nice. Fit into there. Yeah, they fit into there pretty good. Pretty good seal. I'm not sure exactly what went on to do that. I've been mixing fuel for years, and I've never had a mishap. I mean, never. Well, it looks like that piston came up and tapped the end of the spark plug too. Whenever I mix my fuel, I always mix it just a little bit rich, because I like to see some smoke. I'd rather foul a plug, you know. It's not like I'm out in the middle of the woods and people are depending their lives on this saw, and a fouled plug would spell disaster. Just have to take the plug out and clean it, or maybe change it. Oh, that's a neat little gear there. I wonder what drives that. Oh, you know what? That's why that thing's threaded, because this drives that gear. Aha! And this little rod there drives the plastic. Alright. Good. We learn something every day. The more you know! Alright. Yep. That's enough of this. I gotta think a while about what I'm gonna do. I gotta find out where the heck this thing was sucking air. And that pan almost wants to come off. Well, that'll be another advantage if I can find where this thing was sucking air, because I can just leave that pan in place and stick a new piston. Hopefully get this going again for reasonably cheap. Hopefully the piston won't even be that much, even if it's a real Stihl component. So if it's just the piston, that's all I got to replace, and I can get it at a fair price from Stihl, then I'm not going to bother with Chinese crap. Alright, well, take it easy, and thanks for watching if you stuck with me through all that garbage. Have a nice day.